A new Bitcoin pattern emerges. The good old Bitcoin Christmas tree pattern. What does it mean? What the hell happened this morning? Bitcoin rose up to over $90,000, back down to under 87K. Where is it headed next? We're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about altcoins. Who was the leader in mindshare for 2025? And what is it going to look like in 2026 as the year comes to an end? And one of the worst Q4s we've had in Bitcoin and crypto's history. We'll talk about why we're not getting a clarity bill this year and, well, what that could mean. Is that actually a good thing? We'll talk about that. We have a lot to discuss today. Gina, roll the intro.
Hola! Is ya boy Big Rob back in the house. Welcome to Sin City Crypto, home of the entertainment-focused cryptocurrency content. We take old, boring, stale information, repackage all that up in a fun, entertaining, amazing, Vegas, what the hell's going on with Bitcoin kind of way. I overheard conversations today with David. He was saying that he thinks that we're going to go lower, dead cat bounce. I think the opposite. I think that what's happening right now is, I'm not trying to be funny and cute here. I genuinely think what's happening is that the market, that the majority of people are losing confidence in the upside potential of Bitcoin. Same thing happens on the other side, right? When all of a sudden you're at 100,000, 110,000, 120,000, everyone's saying like, oh my God, it's going to keep going here. It's going to slow down. Nobody's talking about it pulling back. Nobody's talking about it selling off. Nobody's talking about a top there, right? Well, a couple people are, but generally the overall consensus is that we're going to keep going higher. And once I feel that all of the bullish narrative has exhausted and that I go and search through Twitter, and I was on X and I saw that people were like, you know what? I'm leaving crypto. I am done. I am hanging it up. I've lost too much money. The bear market here. I don't hear anybody talking about bullish narrative. The same thing happens on the other end. When I don't hear anybody talking about bearish narrative and it's all like price discovery, I'm like, hey, guys, time to pay attention to a pullback. And I think that now we are at the precipice of a major rally on, these are 24-hour candles, right? This is, previous all-time high here, 126. We're at 86,000. We have still not made a lower low here. Now, we came down to 83,000. We came down to 80,000, briefly 79,000 on some exchanges. But I think what we saw this morning was a taste of what the markets are about to do. That 90,000, which got straight rejected, I think it just tells you that people are ready to move to the upside. Of course, it was Bitcoin liquidating some shorts. We know that. I'm not saying it wasn't. A lot of shorts got liquidated. A lot of people are expecting downside. But I think that's overall the macro view, too. I think a lot of people are just bearish. And I think that the market's going to reverse to clean out the bearish positions. Just my thoughts.
I couldn't disagree more. I mean, this is not a sign that that Bitcoin's going up. I mean, it gave back everything plus some in the very next hourly candle. And, here's a little short story here. It's part one, and, well, here's part two. And this is a pattern now known as the Christmas tree pattern, where, you get that peak at the top, and that's where you put your star or whatever ornament you put up there, angel, the wings, star. Then you decorate the big candles with the ornaments. So
and then you also have the Grinch Stole Christmas, where it goes up through the chimney, out of the house, back into the sky on reindeer. And
interesting. I've never seen that. Never seen that one. Yeah. Is it a new one?
Do you want to do a Christmas wager?
A Christmas wager?
We're over 90,000 by Christmas.
Versus what? Versus not being
under 90,000? You'll
You'll get scam works like that.
I'm just saying, Christmas morning, we wake up, we're over 90,000. It's very simple.
How about we do 95?
Why can't you just?
Because I don't want to do.
I'm
90.
giving you the position. We're $4,000 underneath.
Sure.
90,000.
Can we get to 90,000 by Christmas and come?
Okay,
right back
give me a
down?
number. I
95. We won't be over 95K by Christmas.
So you're so bearish. You're so certain that we're in a bearish pattern. The first thing you said, I couldn't disagree more.
Yeah.
And you think that in a week from now we're gonna be higher than we are now?
Maybe.
No, you're just scared money, bro.
I'm scared money. Okay.
I got a conviction in my direction.
Okay,
bro.
95K.
No, I don't know if I'll get to 95K.
So you're scared.
No, I just think that the market's not going to sell down. We're not going to go into a bearish bull. I don't think that this patterns are telling us that, hey, the bear markets, we're going to further sell off 79,000, so whatever the numbers are. Like, I don't see it, man. I think that we're going to continue upward momentum. Do we get to quite 95,000? Do we go up by $9,000, a 10% run in the next 7 days? I don't know. That I'm not sure. I do feel very, very confident that we'll be over 90,000. I don't know if we'll get to quite 95,000. If I'm going to put a wager, I'm going to say that. Now, you sounded pretty confident on your downside prediction, but you don't want to put your money there. So we'll just keep it there.
I just don't like the number. Give me a different number. 95K. You said no. You scared?
Do you think there's, why are you scared of 90,000? You're so certain it's going to go down.
3,000 off. Anything can happen. But a $7,000 move is not going to happen.
I don't know. It's 10% move in 7 days. I don't know. I don't know if it'll get there. You can pick a downside number and I'll take anything. I don't think we'll be down at all. Want to do 85,000 by Christmas?
No, I'm already broke. You see my kids' Christmas wish list. My daughter found Labubus. Fuck my life. Why are they so expensive? Anyways, let's start with here. So everyone was excited about the Crypto Clarity Act. It's going to bring in institutions. It's going to bring in the banks. Charles Hoskinson's over here on his AMAs talking about that's what's going to, give us a Giga Chad bull run. And this is it, guys. This is what everyone's been waiting for. Well, it's not coming in 2025. So U.S. Senate pushes a crypto market structure bill to 2026 as Bitcoin slides again. So if you guys remember, this was passed in the House on July 17th, okay? July 17th. So what is that, 4 months ago? Now, 5 months ago, this was passed, and it's been sitting at the Senate for 5 months. And so it's not coming this year. They're talking about 2026. If you're in the United States, oh, cowboy hats, look at that. There's signs everywhere. So if you're sitting there waiting and for this year, it's not coming. 2026, if you're in the U.S., you know how difficult it is to pass legislation here. So the question then becomes, would that be too little too late, or would that be perfect timing? Before I get Rob's opinion here, I do want to give a thank you. Today's show is brought to you by Stake.us, the #1 social casino in the entire world. If you're looking to have some fun, play some games, win some free stake cash, create an account. It's free. Redeem your daily stake cash. It's free. That's one per day. That's $365 in stake cash every year for just logging in. All you got to do is create an account. We want to thank Stake for being a proud channel sponsor. So some people are saying this is a negative, the Clarity Act not passing. Some are giving the other take and saying, you know what, that's actually better, right? It's better, 2025. It's already kind of been a wash if you look at the yearly candle. I think actually, and I'm just going to take a peek here myself as, look at that, Bitcoin's dumping. So yearly candle is red. And so Bitcoin opened up the year at 93,200. So 2025 essentially has been a wash, a negative year. And so people are saying, even if that structure bill, even if it's as bullish as everyone says it is, it wouldn't matter if it came in 2025. It's just not enough time left. So do you like the fact that it got pushed back to 2026? Do you think that would kind of be the spark for the next leg?
Let me tell you, man, when I'm at home and I'm not doing the show, I don't really care about the crypto market structure bill. And I don't think most of us here do. And I'm not saying anything against your topic here. I'm just saying that, like,
well, you kind of are. Just because Rob doesn't care.
No, I'm saying the reality of it is that retail, the people that fuel the green candles, don't really care what's going on in Congress, man. And I think that, like, if you guys want us to come out of this bear market, bull market, out of this bear market trend and back into the thick of the bull market, you know, we need like some excitement. We need some liquidity into the markets. The way I look at the market structure bill and this, the way I view it is that it is positioning the large companies to enrich themselves, right? It's positioning the crypto companies, the banks, the institutions, the hedge funds. It's positioning all of the big money to get exposure to crypto and make money currently. And I don't really care about that. I just don't. I'm not slighting the topic. I'm just saying that, like, me personally, I don't look at this as a must need, a check mark, like, oh my God, it's here, because essentially what you're doing is you're just onboarding the big boys. And I know it's inevitable. I'm not sitting here saying that, like, hey, it's going to be degen world with Bitcoin. I know that the smart money is going to get their position. I just don't personally look forward to it. Right? If I have a really good job at a company and I know it's getting bought out by Amazon and they're going to fire, but, like, is that good for job stability? Sure, I guess. Like, they're going to fire the bosses above me, but then all of a sudden I'm controlled by another company that has 17,000 other employees, and then I have 22 managers above me. What I'm saying is that I'm not a big fan of institutions and ultimately the U.S. getting into crypto. I know it's coming. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying that, me personally, I don't get hyped up for it. I don't. And what drives our markets? It's the order books, the buying. It's not the taxes and who can custody and what manner. And so for me, I get excited about upward price action. I get excited about making money, dude. Sorry, bro. That's just how I
get excited about upward price action.
That's right.
Wow.
I'm a simple man to please.
What a great take there is.
If I see green numbers in my portfolio, your man happy.
If only life were that simple, you know? Mm-hmm. If only life.
I mean, don't you agree? Our viewers deserve it, man. They want to know where to make money. They don't care about the Clarity Act, man. They don't care about the infrastructure bill.
Well, that's not true. If you listen to people that are more plugged in than we are.
It's the Bitcoin maxis, bro.
No, it's not the Bitcoin maxis. You call Charles Hoskinson a Bitcoin maxi?
I call him a enrich himself maxi.
Either way, he's not a Bitcoin maxi.
Have you seen the Midnight Token, bro?
I have. So
that thing came out at $2 before anybody could sell it. And then it just sold down. And then once everyone was able to, once the airdrop people were able to sell, at that point, it was at 6 cents, man. 5 cents, 4 cents. It's ugly, dude. I mean, look at that candle, bro. So 24-hour candles, you go to the hourly candles. I mean, it looks nice here, right? You got some nice price action. And then you have this God red candle. How high does it go? Jesus.
It's a stairway to heaven.
This is what happens when influential whales and influential people dump on the retail, man. I don't want any more of this crap, man. There's no answer. I'm just saying. I'm just speaking my piece, man. I'm not saying that, like, they shouldn't be here. I'm just saying that I don't personally like it. It's like if you had a really cool party and then all of a sudden the frat kids showed up and you're like, I knew they were coming. I just don't personally like them. They brought $100 for beer, though. I'll take it. Feel me though, man?
No, not really. My Bitcoin short is printing.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
What are we doing? How are we making money?
By shorting Bitcoin, not doing what you say. That's how we make money. Is Bitcoin is not bouncing. It's in fact going down. And so we got in here at my entire order did not fill. I had 100 contracts in for like 87K and only 38 filled. We got in at 86,575, and we're currently damn, if that would have filled, that would have been up like $800. Well, we take what we get, and so damn it. Anyways, my TP on this one is 85,555, 85,555. And so that would have been a nice little, that would have paid my mortgage for the month today. So my bias for the entire market right now is short. When I look at price action, okay, for me, it's all about velocity and whether a move can sustain, right? And when I see something like this, when I see a 2.5% hourly candle get completely engulfed by the very next candle, it almost engulfed the previous two candles. And then we see this, to me, that tells me there is more downside, right? It tells me the bears are in control. If you look at any time frame above like the 6 hour, the bears are in control. Here you have a pretty big head and shoulders pattern on Bitcoin, which if we were to measure out where the move would take us, we can do something simple like this. You're talking about a downside target of sub 80,000. I don't know if it's going to get there. I've said this cycle, if you're trading or you're scalping, you should cut your TP by 25%. So if you're planning on taking profit at, ETH at 3,000, take your profit at, 3,000. If you're in a long, take your profit at 2,990, something like that, 2,980, whatever that amount is. And so there's just been a lot of wild swings, but to me, it's very obvious when you look at the charts, when you look at the sentiment, when you look at everything, the bias is bearish. And whether you want to hear that or not, it is what it is. That's what the numbers say. And so instead of getting butthurt about it, like some people in the chat, you should figure out, okay, if the bias is bearish, how do I make money, right? If you are a Bitcoin or if you love to dollar cost average in a Cardano, and you think it's going to be the next greatest thing ever, find out how to short the markets, take that money and DC into your project, or scalp and, well, have some extra income per month for yourself. There's always ways to make money in a market, whether it's up or down. You just got to not let your feelings get in the way. You got to be as objective about it as possible. And so if you do that, you'll make money. And I've been doing fairly well. I'm not sitting here saying I haven't made millions, but I made good enough money. An extra 15, 20K a month. Shorting here and there. Sometimes I flip my position and go long. You can do the same, and you don't need a crap load of money to start. And so, yeah. Okay. This was interesting. So this was posted by Linda. So this was a Cointelegraph post. The number of active traders on Solana has dropped from 4.8 million to 680,000 since the start of 2025, marking a roughly 7x decline in activity. And when you look at the unemployment numbers just came out, right? 46%, or excuse me, damn, that would be bad. 4.6% unemployment rate, which is the highest it's been, I think, since the last 5 years, 4 years, whatever that number is. And so unemployment, people are struggling, everything's more expensive. And so if we sit here and say, well, when retail gets back, that's when we're going to see green candles, we might be waiting a few years. Now, the people that have the money that are sitting on the sideline, which is why I brought up the Clarity Act, is you keep hearing things and seeing things that this is what they need, right? We'll talk about manipulation from the exchanges. I don't want to get into that conversation, but a lot of people point to that and say, we just can't invest any large sum of money because Binance has too much control, Coinbase has too much control, these market makers, they do whatever they want, and we don't want to put in a few $1 billion into the markets when these things are happening. And so for a lot of people, the Clarity Act is something that is going to get rid of all that, and it's going to essentially bring those to the U.S. and oversight by the United States government and the authorities, the SEC, the CFTC, and whatever. And so could that be the spark? Because I don't know about you, dude, but if we're going to sit here and say retail, we're going to be waiting until 2030.
There's money to be made. The thing is I feel like you just need to capture the right altcoins, right? Capture the trend and see what's going on. I found a couple Well, one thing to keep an eye on is the biggest mover, which is Humanity Protocol here, number one on the top 200 list. Humanity's up 50% on the 24 hours, also up 7%, or excuse me, 100% on the 7 days. And, if you look here on the chart, these are the 24-hour candles. You had a rounded bottom here and a clear breakout on Humanity Protocol. For me, I'm starting to think like, could we see ourselves back into this 30, 35 cents? This is something that was inside the top 100 not too long ago, something that was catching a lot of buzz. Could we break back into the top 100? If you're asking yourself, what is Humanity Protocol even about? It's just a verification of who you are on the ZK, powered on by ZK rollups. And you do it all day, every day, right? When you log into these new websites or you log in, it's like verify your identity. Every time you look at your phone, your Apple ID thing or whatever it is, or it does a face scan or the fingerprint scan. You log into a website. It's like it's proof of who you are, right? Now, I'm not really sure if anybody is doing this on blockchain outside of Humanity Protocol. And so for checking in and verifying your data, or verifying who you are, it makes a lot of sense to have this on blockchain, especially with ZK rollups, because one, you can say this is who I am without giving away any of your private data, right? Instead of saying, hey, let me verify who you are, let me text you, and then they know your phone number, right? I don't want anybody to know my phone number. I don't want anybody to know my email. And so can I verify who I am without giving up that information? Well, that's where blockchain and ZK rollups come in. That's where Humanity Protocol is. So I'm a fan of the project. I think it makes a lot of sense. There's not very much competition in it. And if you look here at the chart, it was at 37 cents. It's at currently 10 cents. It did rally 100% in the last week. It did rally 50% in the last day. But when you're in a downward trend like we are, what have I routinely said? Wait for a breakout. You're not going to get the cheapest possible entry point, but it may be a good sign that you're going to get back up to better price action, right? And so what I'm looking for is getting in on Humanity Protocol around 10 cents where we're at, if it gets up to 11 cents, comes back down to 10 and confirms the breakout, then at that point, you know what? Give me a position on it. I'm looking forward to 20 to 30 cent Humanity Protocol, which would put it once again back in the top 100 where it was before. This is something I'm very bullish on. This is something that I'm keeping an eye on. Also, we have more rally. I know we talked about this earlier this week. Beat or Audera, which is an AI agent and dance thing going on. Not the biggest fan of the game. I don't really like the idea. However, it's kind of trendy. It's AI agents. Same thing with Pippin. This one is up 15%. Not the basketball Pippin, but something to keep an eye out for. Something. These are big movers. And then you can always look at what's down the most, and then kind of take a look there as well. You have Terra Luna Classic, which is weird because Terra Luna Classic and the Luna token both they rallied during the sentencing, and so pay attention to these little narratives. If you know something's coming out, even something as dumb as Terra Luna could potentially do something. If you know that, like, hey, like if Do Kwon was about to get out of prison, maybe this would be a time to pick up a little Terra Luna position. Obviously very speculative, but you never know. And then also on the biggest losers on the 24 hours, you got BitTensor here, number 6. It's down to 235. I think with AI agents making a play, I know we mentioned this on Monday, AI agents making a play, I think BitTensor might be a really good pickup, right? If you look here on the 24-hour candles, now I would probably wait if you're looking for a short-term position. If you're trying to accumulate BitTensor, I think now is probably a great time to enter. I think that value proposition at 235 is phenomenal. We have not been here since back in what is this? March was the last time we were around $200. In March, we did dip under $200 briefly. But, you know, it hasn't been here very often. So I'd feel pretty confident in getting position on the long term on BitTensor. If you're looking for a short term play, you can get BitTensor. You can wait for a BitTensor reversal. You know, if we go down to, say, 220, start rounding out here and then have a breakout, get up to maybe 280 again where this support is, I would feel pretty confident going on a long position there. Great time to accumulate. Maybe look for the 280 for a, what's this, 250. So 250 to 260 for perhaps break above, come back, test, put in a long position. Yeah. I don't know, any projects you're looking at there, David?
No, I'm not looking to buy anything right now.
No.
I'm just trading. I'm trading and scalping the markets.
Anything you're looking to trade? I know you mentioned shorting Bitcoin, but
yeah, I mean, like I said, for me, I flow with whatever the direction of the market is. So if the narrative is bearish and the market is bearish, then I look for resistance levels and I short them. And if it's reverse, then I do the opposite. And so, but I made one big change to my portfolio, and I told the Patreon members about 2 weeks ago, and I haven't done anything. I look at it, everything I have it in, I'm fine. I'm down pretty big, so I know how it feels, guys. Don't worry. Those of us that have crypto in our portfolios, we're bleeding. But again, you know, the money I'm making with the trading, some of it I put into my dry powder stash because I don't think the bottom is in. And the other ones, I use it for my day-to-day IRL activities, you know, paying bills, all the fun stuff, you know, taking the kids on vacation. The World Cup is coming next year. And, of course, my kids picked the most expensive game they want.
What about ETH? I know you're talking about shorting. I think ETH is in a good position. If you look at ETH here, it has it's bounced here at 2,800. If you think that the market's going to have more downside pull, the next level where we've found some resistance or support is 2,500. You can go down all the way to 22.5 or, 2,250. And so I think that if this 2,800 is lost, I mean, we're right there. If you're in the market to short, I'm just trying to think like, where are we going to make money? I'm just curious where your head is, right? If your head is downside action, cool. Let's find some cool, let's find some juicy charts.
Here's the thing though, it's really simple. Unless we're in an altcoin season, whatever Bitcoin does, the altcoins will do, outside of a few small caps. And so I do a lot of my trading on Coinbase. I use a lot of margin. And so, yes, the fees are higher, but it's one where I feel confident keeping, 5 figures or more in. So for me, when I'm shorting a market that's not in an alt season, right, and Bitcoin's going down, it's like, and I've tried it. You try to short ETH or Solana or XRP or whatever, but I found myself keep going back to Bitcoin. Well, where's Bitcoin at? You do the same thing. Right? When you were in a long and you were spot trading, you would always refer back to Bitcoin because if Bitcoin started pulling back, you would exit your position. If Bitcoin started pumping, you would maybe add to your position. And so,
but then there's a lot of tokens that are outperforming Bitcoin. So when Bitcoin was rallying, I was looking at Zcash, Dash, and other ones that were leveraged plays. And so now I'm looking at what has been selling off against Bitcoin, right? And so for me, has more of a leveraged downside move? I think it's Ethereum. Ethereum has, if you look at Ethereum on the take a look at Ethereum compared to Bitcoin over the last month. We had a breakout here. We're coming back. You look here on the year, we've had a couple of deviations.
The only thing even outperforming Bitcoin is Tron. That's it. Everything else is underperforming Bitcoin.
So then from a short perspective, then isn't it a good move to identify which ones are bleeding off heavier against Bitcoin? You
can, but there's not as much liquidity, especially if you're trading perps. And so it's worked for me, sure.
For ETH? For ETH? Like here's Solana, like nice liquidity there. This is awful trade against Bitcoin. So I think like if you think the market's going to keep selling down, I mean, you know, currently you have 42% loss on the year with Solana, even particularly here on the let's see here, since back in September, you know, we've had a huge deviation. This is when, you know, the price of Solana was at 250. Ever since then, we've just seen a collapse in Solana. I mean, I don't know, maybe
my TP was just hit. So I'll give you an example. This is just my experience on Coinbase. Okay, if I put in I trade 100 contracts on Bitcoin, which comes out to, if the price is 85K, it's 85,000 of notional value, right? I can put my stop loss from 85K if I'm shorting it up to 85.8, and my the loss I would take from a dollar value wise would be around $700-800. On Ethereum, I'm trading 400 contracts, and so a $5 move against me is the same amount as an $800 move. Now, I get it, the size is different, but I would rather have a tighter stop loss and lose less money on Bitcoin. Sure, can I give up a little bit on the edge where ETH underperforms Bitcoin a little more? Sure. But for me, I don't know. I've been doing fine with it. That's what I'm sticking with. I was getting ready to go into an ETH short yesterday, and I wanted to get in at like 31 or what was it, 32.64. And I had to put my stop loss at like 32.72 for the trade to even make sense. And so for me, I don't know, that's not enough of wiggle room to the upside in case it goes against me for the first, I don't know, couple minutes or first 5 minutes or so. And so I stick with Bitcoin, and I've been doing pretty fine. And speaking of Bitcoin, I think Bitcoin does get a bid here. It's at 85.6. You take a look at this chart on the hourly. Last time Bitcoin was down here, it consolidated and had that move up. Got to as low as 85.213. And from when it reversed to that first leg, it ran up around 3%. And so that's where Bitcoin is now. You have some confluence with volume here as well. So I expect a bid. And also one thing to note too, on the hour time frame at least, volume is dropping on the sell side. And so that's good. So I look at this and I say, you know what? I think we had a short-term bounce. How high will that short-term bounce go? I think the first level to look out for is 86.9 on the way up on the more macro. And you can also look at these lows here as well. 86.175. And so my bias, the way I would trade this is I would wait for the rally up. I would put an alert at 86.175. And I would see what price does, because what this is going to end up doing is this is going to end up forming a bear flag like so. I'll just use it's going to come back down, and then you're going to start seeing that little flag portion. Now, could it extend all the way up to 86.9? Sure. The first stop is going to be 86.175. Either way, I'm looking for how high this thing goes, and I'm going to draw my Fibonacci retracement. So those of you that have been trying to figure out how to time these trades or when to get in, I'm giving you a little class here, okay? Draw your fib. Let's say this is the bottom. Identify your first level, which is your 236 level. Let me get rid of that. Which is your 236 level. And then identify your 50. Your 50 sits at 87,643. If this is the bottom. And so target the first level, the second level, and then figure out where price is going to go. Once you start seeing a big red candle, or if you use stuff like Market Cipher or moving averages or the Ichimoku Cloud, whatever indicators you use, wait for a breakdown, okay? Wait for the retest and enter on the retest if volume increases. Simple. You can do that on Bitcoin, you can do that on ETH, you can do it on XRP, you can do it on whatever. And if you go through any other chart, it's going to look almost identical. Look at ETH. It's going to look identical. XRP, identical. Solana, identical. Dash, identical. Zcash. Like, it's the same thing over and over again. And we have people like Brendan who have honed in on two charts, Solana and XRP. You were like that with Dash. You would call the bottoms and it would hit the bottom. You would call the top and it would be the top. Why? Because you study the chart time and time again. You know, okay, when it gets to this level, or when it starts trading like this, or when you see a couple of candles on the 5 minute like this, it's going down, it's going up. that's the benefit too of, let's say, if you just want to trade Bitcoin or if you just want to trade Ethereum, there's benefits to that as well. Sure, you give up a little bit of profit by, you know, things underperforming what Bitcoin does, but there's some positive of the game there as well. Brendan. What's up, man?
What's up?
What you got for us today?
So right here, this is a trade that I just hit. This is a nice 1-to-4 or 4-to-1 trade right here. Just like everything, just everything played out just as it usually does. Trend line, change of character, tap in on the fair value gap, and then push down. I went for a 1-to-4 here, just because I wanted to set it at the bottom of this support zone, because this is just a zone that it really hasn't broken through at all. I mean, you see it wick down there, but it's closing up. So it's trying to disrespect it, but it's not letting it happen. So what I'm thinking is, now that I've hit this trade, I'm waiting to reverse my position, or just reverse and let it go up. So I don't think that it's going to push I don't think it's going to break through this support zone down here. I think Bitcoin is going to start, just like you were saying, going to start pushing up. This will follow suit. So if it were me, I would be waiting for a breakthrough of a new trend line. So if it was me, this is the trend line that I would be drawing, just like that. So we got a little bit of a breakthrough, but it's pushing back down. See, I would have just got hit on my TP again. If this closes down here, then I'm completely wrong, and it is what it is. But I think that this is going to push back out. Just like you were saying, I know this chart well, and so I think that this is going to push back out. We've only seen one close below this area, and it was a little while back. Actually, it wasn't even a close. It was just a wick. And this is Friday, November 25th. And outside of that, we've pushed straight out of it every single time.
Yeah. Okay. So you're saying your next setup, you're looking for a long?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Yeah. Bitcoin is 85.4. Kind of similar to what we saw here again. And I think this is a local, at least a local bottom. If we lose this level, if 85.1 gets lost, we're going to 85.6, and you have some confluence here where price closed. You have liquidity here as well, volume here as well. We'll call it 84.6 to be exact. Not confident enough to put in a limit order on a long, but curious enough to pay attention when the price does get down here. And so, guys, everything is telling me that the bias is obviously bearish, and so I'm looking for short opportunities here on Bitcoin. I have made some money on a few longs, but shorts are, I would say, probably 80% of my trades have been shorts. So, yeah. All right, let's talk about RWAs. This was pretty big news. This came out a couple of days ago on Monday. We didn't get a chance to share it, but Ondo is coming to Solana. The largest platform for tokenized stocks and ETFs is coming to Solana. Wall Street liquidity meets internet capital markets. When you look at Ondo, let's take a look at a price chart here. Let me find Ondo. Why is it every time? There it is. And this is the Ondo chart. I mean, we're at like all-time lows. Okay? Any lower and we'll be at where the price kind of started and came out. If you are willing to buy Ondo and hold it for, let's say, 6 to 12 months, 38 cents was a level that I had mapped out for Ondo for it to get a bid. Look at the last time this thing wicked down here, although conditions were definitely different as this was in March of last year when everything was more bullish. Ondo had a tap down at that 38 cent region and it rallied 170%. So now you have the news that Ondo and Solana are essentially, you know, so Solana is getting some Ondo products. You think this is more bullish for Ondo or Solana? If you were to look at this piece of news and say, I'm going to open a position, would you open it on Solana or would you open it on Ondo?
Right now, what I'm looking at is the large, like for me, I'm going with larger plays instead of the higher risk ones. As far as my main position. Now, if I want to take a flyer, I want to put in a small bid on Ondo, then sure. But if I'm coming in with size, it'll definitely be on Solana. I'm still very, very, very bullish on Solana. I know that, I was talking about, short opportunities. And I think that if Bitcoin does sell down more, the Solana is going to be in a very ugly spot. 120 has been strong support. So I think that as long as we get a reversal from Bitcoin, we're just going to see a strong bounce here. I think that $200, if we get a reversal from Bitcoin and it stays above 80,000, I think Solana might be one of the strongest plays there is. As far as Ondo is concerned, I think that involves regulation, it involves companies, it takes time to mature. It might not bounce quite as hard as Solana will. It is a leveraged play, so if you want a little bit more upside, if this does reverse, I think Ondo's the one. But you know what? You're also playing with fire, right? Because if Bitcoin does end up selling down more, which I feel confident that we're going to bounce back and go up to 90,000, but you know what? You got to be ready for more downside action. If that's the case, and you buy Ondo now, you're going to be screwed, bro. You're gonna watch your portfolio take bigger and bigger punches. At the same time, if you bought Solana now at 120 and Bitcoin were to go down to 68,000 or something like that, you know what? You're maybe sitting at a $90 Solana, $95 Solana. It might not feel good, but you know what? It'll feel way better than being in Ondo at those price targets with Bitcoin. But for me, I like the upside. I think that $200 is on the table if you get a reversal on Bitcoin. I think Solana outperforms most layer ones, particularly Ethereum. So that's something I'm personally looking at. No hate against Ondo, but I would position into Solana currently.
Is Solana your favorite layer one play?
Yeah, I mean that's where the dApps are, right? That's where the trending dApps are. That's where people are hanging out. That's where the memes are launched. That's where the DEX activity is. Now, I'm not saying that ETH doesn't have higher numbers. They do. There's more users on ETH, right? But the reality of it is that trend is changing, and people are going to Solana's ecosystem. If you believe that there's going to be another altcoin run, if you think that at any point in time there will be an altcoin run, I think it'll be led by Solana. I think that Solana will be the strongest performer out of the layer ones. What's up?
Shit. Polygon's at 10 cents.
Yeah, it's just a failing narrative. You don't need it, right?
First
of all, what was Polygon's mission, right? Polygon's mission was to have an alternative to Ethereum that it was an ERC20 that was a side chain essentially. And now there's not that many people on ETH. ETH isn't that congested, right?
And there's no one.
I'm talking about ETH.
I know. So the markets are dead.
Yeah. So ETH's not congested. So you're not going to need a scaling solution. And back to
ETH will get congested again, though. So are you saying that these scaling?
The thing is that you got Arbitrum and Optimism, which are native on-chain scaling solutions, while Polygon is off-chain. It's a side chain. It's not even an ETH. It's not even an ETH product, right? It's a side chain to ETH that leverages its security from the Ethereum chain. And so it's kind of like it's an older, not quite efficient scaling solution. If you're going to have a scaling solution on ETH, go with the ones that are on ETH. Why are you going to go on a side chain? It seems archaic at this point. It made sense back in 2021 because there was no ZK roll-up scaling solutions. The only tech at the time was to build a sidechain and then be like, oh, our sidechain checks in with the ETH for security. So you get all the security of ETH, but the scalability. Now we don't need that. Technology is advanced, and you got old tech there. That's why Polygon is dying. 100%.
Yeah, I wouldn't touch Polygon.
It would be like if there was a gas shortage and people were like, yo, there's lots of diesel gas. So then everyone started using diesel, but then all of a sudden, all the cars start going electric. Like, okay, well, if you're going to have a gas car, you're probably just going to get a regular gas car. Like, who the hell is going to buy a diesel car? Which, by the way, is very popular in Europe, by the way. It's like 30% of the cars are diesel.
Really?
Yeah. Like all their Mercedes cars are like diesel. Well, at least they were back in the early 2000s. I know there's been a change.
Cars.
Yeah. But here's the thing, like if you're in a smaller niche in a dying industry, then you're in the worst situation. And on a chain that's losing users that has very little traffic, you're in a very small niche side chain, and you're not even the best tech in that spot. So it just seems Polygon is dead. You know what? I haven't done this in a while. I'm just gonna go ahead and pull out the shovel. Polygon, I salute you. You are now a product I will never buy. Ever, ever, ever. There's no reason. Your tech is useless compared to ones that are efficient. And so to those of you holding Polygon, well, sorry for you. For those of you that are thinking about buying Polygon, please, for the love of God, don't do it. There's no upside there. I'm telling you, there's no upside. I promise you. There's just better tech. Even the people on Ethereum aren't using it. When was the last time you heard of someone using Polygon?
Sandeep.
The founder of Polygon.
Yeah. You know, man, look at these numbers, okay? Cardano down 60% on the year, okay? 36 cents. Like, these are bear market numbers, dude. Chainlink, $12. Avalanche, $11. 67% down. Hedera, 10 cents. What do you got? Toncoin, $1.40. Polkadot under $2. Polkadot is under $2. It is down 72% year to date. Now, when you look at these numbers, I would not recommend saying, "Oh wow, Polkadot is $1.80. I'm going to buy it." You think you're going to throw your money into
in a bear market or in bear market moves or trends. Currently, we're in a bear market trend, right? I wouldn't call it a bear market because I think that we have yet to go under 80,000. We went down there, we wicked, we've been putting in higher lows. So for me, not quite confirmed. Not saying we won't get there, but in these moves, you start to see who the fake ones are. It's just the reality. Like, look at the biggest losers, like you just did, and you can just see like the ones that sell off the most either rallied extremely hard, and so naturally you're going to get a pullback, right? Like here's an example, like BitTensor, they rallied up to 400 something bucks, right? It did very well. It outperformed most altcoins. So naturally, when you get these big pullbacks, you're going to get a big sell off there. But the ones that concern you are the ones that did not rally this year
and still
are taking massive L's and are in the top 10 for losers, like Caspa, Render, and Fetch.
Caspa had a big rally. It rallied from 2 cents to 20 cents.
But that was not this year. That was so long ago.
You're talking about this year only?
Yeah, I mean, what are we holding out for? Like the last time this thing, when this was at all-time high, was in 2024. We're turning the calendar this in 2 weeks we're going to be in 2026. Like, guys, and then like tell me what is going to make this reverse? I know we got a lot of Caspa fans in here. I'm just curious, like, what would make Caspa reverse? I was bullish on it. I made a lot of money on Caspa, but at some point, like, you make money on projects and then they fade out, bro. That's just how that's the game, man. It's like if you're investing to never sell, then you're not investing. You're just hoping, right? They're just like, you're like, oh gosh, man. And maybe something changes with Caspa. I don't know. If it does, it's going to be a lot. It's going to need a lot of change. It needs liquidity, it needs listings, it needs dApps, it needs smart contracts, it needs builders on there. You need stable coins. Like it needs so much things on it before it can be legitimate. And it's still number 50 on the market cap list. So for you to be such a big player and have nothing in your ecosystem, I'm not saying that there's nobody building on it, but comparatively speaking to other layer ones. For projects in this category, you got ICP. Like there's a lot of innovation and building going on there, movement, right? You can even argue that WorldCoin's got a lot going on. You got Ondo here, you got Aptos, Arbitrum. Like all of these have a large ecosystem. Algorand, Cosmos, like I don't really feel confident about Cosmos, but VeChain, I mean, there's a lot of projects that have a lot to offer. Caspa is just a faster form of Bitcoin that doesn't hold value. And that's Bitcoin's whole thing, is that it's a store of value. Will there be bounces, opportunity to make money? Sure. But anyways, you know, you start to see who's the real projects and who's the pretenders. And, you know, you go down that list, you know, we'll go down to the 7-day here. You know, Pump.Fund's down the most this week. Could we see a rally there? I actually wouldn't be opposed to picking up Pump.Fund if you feel confident that the market's going to pull back. Bounce back. Yeah, I don't know. You know, you just got to invert your thinking here, right? Instead of trying to pick the projects that you think are going to rally in a bear market move, you got to say like, hey, what's going to draw down more? What can I put in a short position? Or do I feel confident that the market's going to bounce back? If so, put in your position. CritCat says Rob is very wishy-washy when it comes to a few projects. No, I just follow the trend, dude. I follow the trend, and I got no problem flip-flopping, wishy-washy. I got no problem changing my mind. And so, if all of a sudden, you know, the narrative behind Caspa changes, I see that people are coming in, they're building on there, and there's users, and there's like cool dApps and people are downloading it, and then they get some exchange listings, and then like if I see the momentum going in the right direction, then I will 100% come in and be like, hey guys, you know what? I've seen some good changes out of Caspa. And if you're expecting a price change without a change behind what's fueling it, it's foolish, right? You're just hoping. Don't just go in blindly with hope. And that's just, I don't know.
We got breaking news.
What do you got?
A woman has officially sued the IRS, arguing her dog should be treated as her child for tax purposes. Thoughts on this?
I got a bird.
Can you imagine? I would literally go to the pound and just adopt 18 dogs. It's a lot of tax write-offs, you know? You get the child tax credit. $2,000 per kid / dog / bird and cat. Turn my house into a petting zoo. Then I would charge people to come and pet the animals. There's extra money there.
What if I got an ant farm?
What?
An ant farm.
You would say some dumb shit like that. An ant farm?
Well, this guy got 1,000 ants. It's like 1,000 kids.
No. We're done for the day. I want to thank you all very much for tuning in. No trading show today. We'll be doing the trading show tomorrow. Potentially tomorrow, definitely Friday. Either way, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Gina, roll the outro. Thank you all very much for tuning in. Hang in there, my friends. We'll make some money along the way until the markets turn green again. We love you. We'll see you tomorrow.
Cash is Cuvée. Yeah. Sin City, crypto. Everybody know what we here for. Entertainment and info. Gonna show you how to get that big dough. So every day stay tapped in. For big facts, no capping. With Bitcoin, if you're in, then you win. We divide the pie with no fraction. It's Big Rob, David. I split the game, but they gave it. Name the coin, it's your favorite. I got dry powder, why save it? To the OGs, new beginners. Special shout out to the well members. Buy a dip, sell winners. Ain't really nothing you can tell sinners. Tune in for the latest new flavors. They gonna teach us mean coins. They polarizing like barbecue chicken pizzas. I laugh with a major grin. Laggers, we trade them in. Baddies, they came to sin. And sinners gon' play to win. Screaming hola till my bags are flowing over. Hold ya to the moon and to the solar. Won't I? Don't be letting FOMO control ya. It's over when the finger turn